You've returned. It is time for chapter 36. Come, sit for a moment beside the kotatsu. Tonight I would like to share a story told by a man who drove a quiet bus route through the countryside many years ago. The route was not a busy one. During the day it carried farmers, students, and the occasional traveler between small towns scattered among the hills. But the final bus of the night was usually empty, and on certain nights the driver began to notice a passenger who did not seem to follow the ordinary rules of travel. The driver had worked the route for many years and knew every stop by heart. Each evening he would guide the bus along the narrow roads between rice fields and dark forests until the final passengers stepped off near the small towns along the route. Most nights the bus ended its journey completely empty, but one night, as the driver checked the mirror after leaving the second-to-last stop, he noticed someone sitting quietly near the back, a passenger he did not remember seeing board the bus. The figure sat perfectly still beneath the dim overhead light. The driver assumed the passenger must have boarded earlier without his noticing. That sometimes happened when several people entered at once. Still, something about the figure felt unusual. The passenger sat with his head slightly lowered, hands resting quietly in his lap. He did not move. He did not look out the window, and when the bus reached the final stop, he did not stand to leave. The driver parked the bus and announced that the route had ended. The remaining passengers stepped off one by one. Soon the bus was quiet again, except for the lone figure in the back seat. The driver turned slightly in his seat. "Excuse me," he called gently. "This is the final stop." The passenger did not respond. Concerned, the driver walked slowly down the aisle, but when he reached the seat, it was empty. The bus door had not opened. No footsteps had echoed along the floor, yet the seat was still slightly warm, as though someone had been sitting there only moments earlier. The driver told himself it must have been his imagination. Still, the same thing happened again several weeks later. Once again, a silent passenger appeared near the back of the bus late at night. Once again, the figure remained seated even after the final stop. And once again, the seat was empty when he approached. Eventually, the driver mentioned the strange events to an older mechanic who worked at the bus depot. The old man listened quietly before explaining something the driver had never heard before. Many years earlier, before the road had been improved, a bus traveling that route had been involved in a late-night accident near the hills. Only a few passengers had been on board. Some never reached their destination. Another whispered story from Japan, shared quietly here beside the kotatsu. If you ever ride the last night bus through a quiet countryside road, you may notice the driver checking the mirror from time to time, not just for traffic behind the bus, but to make sure every passenger who boarded has truly stepped off at the final stop.